I'm going to call this meeting to order at 5:30. Everyone please stand and pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That's okay. We can do
Amber, would you please note all board members and admins present?
Noted.
Reports. Do we have anybody from the community who would like to talk on agenda items only? Moving on. Business items for discussion. Safety.
That's me and my team. Okay. So these guys are going to be joining in.
Yeah.
That's okay, right? Okay.
Absolutely.
So safety, I talked to you guys a handful of months about reunification process and how we really wanted to get a plan in place should something bad happen. We've got to take kids off campus to reunite them with their families. So district safety team has gotten together, 4 times maybe this year. One of the last trips we took to our reunification place, and we looked at the whole layout, and we're able to really get a plan in place. We were going to have multiple places for each building, like primary would go here, high school would go here, but the layout is just so foolproof that we're going to use it as our district spot. So we have that all laid out. We've got all the thinking done. Now we just have to get it organized. And so that's on my plate right now to get it organized. I'm going to give myself to the end of February to get that part done, and then have the team look at that again to just make sure that we are good to go, and have everything ready to go. But Frank and Matt, do you guys have anything to chime in on that process of the reunification? I know that we're code talking, but just how the process went.
For GA, and I'm speaking, we haven't done this in my other district, but in my opinion, GA is far and ahead of the vast majority of districts. I assume statewide, probably nationwide. It's a topic that a lot of people don't like to talk about, but Lindsay is, in her typical leadership, has taken the role of this is important to GA. So, in my opinion, we've done a lot of really good work, and I think the process is we're 99% of the way there. We need a floor plan from our reunification spot, but other than that, I think we're pretty good to go on reunification.
It's just making it so that if and when, so the documents that the I Love You guys provides really, really helpful, but we want to be able to, in those moments, delegate with a piece of paper that's, you don't even need to have a conversation, that the paper has it all for you. So we just got to get that part done, and then we'll look over it and be good to go.
Awesome.
I'm very glad that you guys did that. Thank you, because a neighboring district had a situation where they should have done this, and they obviously didn't have a plan in place. So,
yeah.
So thank you.
Yep. So our next is for Frank. You had anything? I didn't want to cut you off if you had anything with reunification.
It's a good plan. I think it's important to note that this is a reunification location, and that each school building does still have an evacuation site, right? So this is kind of separate things.
Yeah, we had a lot of conversation of we wouldn't just go to this spot. It would be, okay, everybody's safe. Law enforcement has given us the green light. We've gotten a hold of the transportation team. We need buses. We got to get kids on buses, and then we go to that spot to then get parents with kids. So this is hours into anything that we would need to, do this process for. So thanks, Frank.
Mm-hmm.
We have SRO update. So we have a couple interviews tomorrow. I don't know. They're at the sheriff's office, so I'm going to go to those. I think Brian's invited. He's going to go. But I have a present for you, Matt, that I want to give to you. Okay? And I want you to open it in front of everybody.
Not looking for the spot or anything.
I didn't tie a knot on that bow, so you can just rip it off.
Okay, I have a knife or two, but I don't want to.
Drum roll, please.
Oh, isn't that
So the front's got a little GA heart where we are.
Aw.
GA SRO.
The OG.
And a little heart. Oh, I love it. Thank you.
Tony Hall made that, so that's on
Okay.
behalf of all the district from us. So.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So while we are not interested in doing interviews tomorrow, we are holding them. Matt get us on board so that GA can be a representative to see who we want to see or help see. So yeah, we'll let you know how that goes. I think Murphy's last day is technically July or January 1st, but he's hoping to just kind of hang around a little bit once we get back. So, Go Guardian is a system that we have for our Chromebooks. So when students are on the computer, we can see what they're doing. So we've had that for middle school and high school, but we just added it to 4th through 5th grades. So the teachers were interested in using that. So it's really, really nice to be able to kick kids off things that they're not supposed to be on. I mean, they can't get on some things they can't be on. Why are you guys laughing at Go Guardian? I don't want to know. Okay, here we go. So any questions with Go Guardian?
So 4th through 12th now is utilizing
4 through 12, yeah.
4 through 12.
And some use it more strictly than others. Like I probably wouldn't be sitting at my computer doing that. I'm going to make sure the kids' computers are facing me and I'm watching them.
Yeah.
So everybody has their autonomy to do how they want, but it's an option for them.
Very good.
Really helpful in our online courses
Very nice.
and our kids that are at home working. So, all right, hotspots and hardlines. So I think Central Elementary and 12th Street Elementary and Portage closed the other day because they didn't have internet. So we don't want that as an option. Like it's just not an option. So Kaylee and Cam have worked with our tech department to get us hardwire lines for when our announcements go down, that we can just go and do the old school grease and ding ding, and then we talk into the microphone. And then the hotspots are for when our office internet can function off of that. There are a few classrooms that can feed off of it, but it doesn't go the whole district, or the whole building. So that's upgrade to then closing.
Yep.
And then vape sensors. We're getting vape sensors in the bathrooms down here, and we're getting them installed over break, and we're not telling the kids, and we're gonna test it out and see. So Brian will be like real close seated down there, so we can get right when the alarm goes off. So anyway, we're excited to see how that's going to go. We're going to test it down there and then do it at potentially these bathrooms down here if it's successful and it's something we see that we should spend money on, and then it'll get at the middle school if it works. So,
Fantastic.
How accurate are they? Like,
Very.
yeah, there's different feedback. It's how you use it. So we want to see. We're going to spend this much money to see how we can actually man it and do it. And then we'll go full throttle if and when it's something that we can task to our staff. But Martin uses it, and Olivet, Bethany Stanton, our counselor's husband, is a principal at Olivet, and he's had much success with the middle school.
Can they go on
I was
buses?
gonna say, is that something that can be put on buses?
We'll have to talk about that alert and then whether you're getting dinged or what. So I think there's some
Just
safety things.
you hit the brakes and you do a check every once in a while.
All right, so moving on to facilities. Are you good with me moving there? All right, so facilities. Thank you, Frank, for being here. You printed up a nice little overview. Do you want to go over that, or do you want me to go over that?
If you'd like me to, I'd be happy to.
I would love for you to go over it.
So come up to the table.
You can even come up to the table. You can stand or sit.
Yeah, well, Lindsay had asked for some updates on the bond project, the stadium and multi-purpose, which unfortunately is not closed out yet. So you all heard of the drainage debacle, well, the second drainage debacle at the stadium with the storm water and sewer water going to the wrong spots, but all that rework's complete. I'm sorry? Yeah, it's fixed. Concrete, fencing, and landscaping that were removed have been reinstalled, including the trees just arrived last week. The only thing on the punch list for that part of it is concrete spatter on the bricks on the side of the concessions stand. And the long jump that was sinking has been repoured. And there'll be a section of track surface that has to be repaired at that location in the spring. There's still some issues with the turf, right? When the turf was reinstalled after being removed, we weren't happy with the alignment and the finished grade of the field itself. So Shaw Sports Turf came out and spent 2 days trying to get all the lines straight and not wavy and not jogs in them. And it's better, but in my opinion, Lindsay and my opinion, it's still not the way it should be.
It's not acceptable.
Same with the actual grade of the field itself. There's still lumps and high spots and low spots.
Well, that's not just from the turf. That's from the stuff underneath it.
There's
Yep.
it's like just a dominoes effect.
Yeah, they did bring out a big, huge steamroller like you'd see on the roads pouring asphalt, and they rolled it, and it again made an improvement, but it still, we don't think it's acceptable.
Well, and we won't know if it's acceptable until we see a season plate on it.
Yeah.
Because it could, like, just
Make
pay
it
for a
greater
game,
moment.
but then the more
So.
it's moved and whatnot.
I guess the only bright side is Triangle and Tower Spinkster haven't tried to tell us that they're done. They still acknowledge that there's issues, and they tell us that they're going to get them right. So,
But Frank's diligence and communication and documentation has been phenomenal. I mean, he's up on the roof checking spots for drainage when there's rain. He's checking the spots that we said, hey, we want this done, and is it up to par? Or they redo the concrete, but then there's spatter on our brand new brick. Like those things aren't okay. And his attention to detail has been like they know we're not playing. So it's been nice.
thank you. Multi-purpose is pretty much wrapped up. There's been some minor heating issues that we just discovered when we started heating, and those are pretty much resolved. The custom wrestling mats, if you haven't seen them, they're pretty slick. I suggest you go check them out. Custom wrestling mats installed. 1 week after the season started, so a little bit behind schedule. But there's the clock in the robotics lab still not working. They're supposed to come and fix that. There's water running down the face of the brick where that gray metal meets the red brick on the robotic side corner. That's just causing mineral buildup, and it's just bad long term for brick wall to have water running down it, right? And then the funny sidewalk at the bus loop is, I can't get any answers on that, but I'm not happy with that.
Yeah, it doesn't go down perfectly, right? Is that
Well,
what
it's
you're worried?
if you're out there, I mean, the asphalt and the curb, right?
Yeah.
I mean, asphalt curb. Well, this is asphalt curb. You know, it's like it's just weird.
Yeah, and they mentioned that it was bad too. It's just when are they gonna do?
Yeah.
But we've kind of had some bigger things too.
There have been bigger fish to fry.
Drainage.
Lastly, the primary addition, the steam patio, is complete. Fencing's reinstalled. The only outstanding issue there that I'm aware of is the carpet transitions in that breakout space outside the steam lab there. The metal strips that go from the concrete to the carpet are coming apart.
And that's so the kids are like cutting the corner, so it's
Yeah.
not really to be high traffic, right? It's kind of cosmetic. So I think they said they were gonna just cut that so that it's more of a fine traffic spot.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Continue on to updates district-wide. So I've been working with Consumers Energy Business Center recently, last several months. I applied for consumers rebates for our CSD1s, which are our annual required boiler safety inspections. So consumers, every other year, consumers will rebate you up to 75% of the total cost of that. So that's coming. Working with our account manager, we were able to lower the electricity rate to the high school for 6%, which is an estimated savings of $5,700 for this year. We were able to adjust the natural gas rate at the bus garage by 7%, which is a savings of around $750. Of course, that all depends on how much we actually use, right? And we're looking into the Consumers Energy Demand Response Program. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that, but if the grid's facing an energy shortage, if there's like looming blackout conditions, we can voluntarily reduce our energy usage if we choose to. So it's not like mandatory you have to, but we can do that and then get credits for the amount of time that we voluntarily lower our usage.
So how are we able to lower our usage?
So good question. It'd be in the summer, it would be a matter of either turning the air conditioning off or changing the room temperatures from 64 to 68. Same thing in the winter, you wouldn't turn the heat off, but instead of 74 or 73, you could say, okay, we're going to 68.
So are we still keeping all all of our buildings at a temperature that's
Legit.
comfortable to work in, like at the bus garage.
The bus garage? How's the bus garage?
It's horrible.
Pretty cold in the room.
It's
We have no
freezing.
heat.
We have no heat.
You got your space heaters, right?
So I mean, if we're lowering and saving money and it's not doesn't have
Yeah.
the outcome that we need, then we should be doing something different.
Yeah. Well, so this is a
That's what he said. It was an option.
this is a voluntary program, right? Even if we sign up for it, we wouldn't be required to, achieve a certain target.
Well, but they're already saying that it's already freezing at the bus garage.
Okay.
Our
And-
office
and
has
again,
no
this is
heat.
all
That's where it's
conversation.
cold. Is
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
Office. We
Yeah.
don't have heat that comes in. We don't have AC that goes in. Like we don't
Yeah.
have to strictly keep
Right.
units
I got it.
So
as they
okay.
do outside.
Yeah. Well, I'm just
But
saying
it's just
we're looking.
conversation
Yeah.
to have to make sure that everybody is.
Yeah, whatever decisions we make as a district, we don't just go top down to say, hey, this is what we're deciding to save money. We would have conversation with like when he says move the high school to 68, I know I'm like, oh my wow, that's already So we would have to have, conversation of what we're willing, if people,
Yeah.
if we know that we want to give raises over the next whatever, well, we have to make some sacrifices in other places or not, and we do, it's just a give and take. So
Yeah, if they have a green day or not, basically. If they have a green day and save energy or not.
Yeah.
And make it on.
Well, and do it in times like Frank said during the summertime when it doesn't necessarily affect a bunch of people,
Yeah. And typically a blackout or risk of blackout condition is going to be over the summer. I mean, electricity shortages aren't real common in the winter. And actually, according to consumers, at least, there's never been a demand in this part of Michigan in like 14 years where there's been a potential blackout condition. So, anyway, just something to note. And then Lindsay asked about grant funding. You may have heard of Filter First, which is the legislation requiring filtered drinking water for all students and bottle fillers and stuff like that. So we applied for a grant for that and awarded the grant. Pretty much everybody was. But yeah, so that'll be coming by the end of next school year. The work's got to be done by, I'm trying to remember, there's so many dates. By January of 26. So I'm preparing bid documents as we speak. Hopefully we'll put that out to competitive bid and get, we got 10 bottle filling stations to be installed with filters and several other filtered faucets and other things for kitchens and break rooms.
So yeah, that's a saving. I mean, it's something that has to happen, but we are awarded $95,000 to make it happen, so that's good.
And that is
Yep.
something the students were wanting, right?
I was
That's
gonna
for students
say,
as well,
yeah.
correct?
It is specifically for students
Okay, perfect.
and staff. Yep.
Perfect, because that has been a want for a while. So that's awesome. So that's, thank you for doing that. That's really cool.
Oh, you're welcome. Anything else?
Do you want to talk about middle school robotics?
Oh yeah, middle school robotics went well. It's our rookie season for the middle school teams.
Frank is our coach.
I'm the coach. We were able to apply for, you get a $35,000 or $3,500 grant from Google organization for each team. So $7,000 total. And then there's a state grant, the 99H, that we applied for, and that just closed last week. So we're pending another $2,700 towards the middle school robotics program for that.
So are our two teams like a high school team and a middle school team?
So we had 2 middle school teams this year,
Oh, okay.
and then we just have the 1 high school team.
Okay. So how did do you do a team based on how many students? Does that mean we have a lot of students participating?
Yeah, so initially we had, the initial sign up was 20 students. And so all the advice I got was you don't really want more than 8 on a team. You could do 10. So we started with 2 teams. As the season went on, the attrition went on, so to speak. And at the end, middle of November, when we had our competition, we were down to 10 students. So it worked out well.
We just had fun. I learned a lot this season at the middle school level, and I think we said we were going to keep 8th grade maybe down to the middle school level, not push them up so that we can build that program and leadership down there. And yeah, lots of funding with the ECJV and the high school level too, so it's nice to build that.
Yeah.
Thanks, Frank.
Thank you.
Okay, transportation ladies, thanks for being here. We have new kiddos routed for the vans. So the vans are now stationed over at transportation so that they can man where, what, when, how. While they weren't using the one, it was nice to have it here because I could go pick up a kid when there was a bus and help them out, so it was convenient. And now that they have to use that and slot it out, we're gonna push everything to them for field trip stuff.
Good.
And then they can manage whether they want a teacher driving it or if they want to send it with a bus. But you guys are in charge. Have fun with that. So that is, but it was a smooth, smooth having them. But now we'll push everything over so that our policy and all of our systems and whatnot go through them, since that's what they do and are good at.
I did want to bring up something about the vans. I don't know if you've thought about it or want to look into it. Running MVRs on the people that you are having drive to make sure your insurance is going to cover them. If they have 6 points, your insurance may not cover them driving a school vehicle, but you wouldn't know that unless you ran an MVR.
Yep.
So I don't know if that's something that's been done or just put a
It's
bug
not.
in your
We've
ear.
literally we take driver's license and we say, this is what we're tracking on that. I mean, if they're volunteering, like, we know they're a safe person, but not from the transportation lens, and we don't have that.
Right, and that's to cover your butt. If like teacher drove and let's say
That's
teacher
why
had
everything's
6
going
points,
through you guys so that you can run it how you run it through Auxilio.
but it's gonna have to be run through you.
Well, that's fine. You'll
The
teach
MVRs. Okay, perfect.
So I have some questions on like if you would use like when would be a situation where you'd use a volunteer versus a bus driver.
So, for instance, what we've had is on Wednesdays we've had some students with that have it's like community-based learning. So they go out and they do like more like life skills versus academic of algebra, this, that, the other. So let's go out and let's create a meal. So they go to the store, they calculate what they're going to need for, 4-person dinner. They do the math and purchase it. So it's a teacher's driving them to take 3 students to the store and then comes back. But because we had the van, that was a system that we had in place and it was fine. But now that they need it for bringing littles, which we have car seats for, over to Parchment, this other system may have to go through them for a bus, or if the van's available, the van.
Right. So, but how is it part of the request? If the person requested it can drive.
Oh, the person can request the van, but they're gonna manage what they need, because it's all dependent on their driver. So let's say they've got a person that they hire that doesn't have their CDL CDL yet, then they're gonna go ahead and say, oh, we're gonna allot you. Hey, Newt, you're gonna go drive the van because you don't have to have a CDL. Whereas then they take the bus.
I'm only asking because part of the discussion when we got the vans was that we would be able to utilize the volunteers or the teachers driving, so we wouldn't have to pay a bus driver. So I was just wanting if I can get clarity later of when, what that process looks like.
Right now, I think
the way that I look at it is if coach requests the van for the 3 wrestlers, then coach is driving the van for 3 wrestlers.
Okay.
I'm not going to go, hey, I need a bus driver to drive this van. The coach is more than able to take it, so here you go, it's all yours. And then there wouldn't be a charge for that because the coach is driving it. It's your vehicle. Have at it. Have a good time. The only time that we're going to step in and say you can't drive it is if we ran an MVR and it's like, hey, they have 7 points. And I'm like, Lindsay, you don't want this person driving the van.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Thank you.
And so right now the vans were requestable, but now they're slotted for routes.
So they have to go around the schedule.
So if and when they can say, you know what, we can do a driver with our 3 kids and we can get them over on a bus, and yes, you can take the van, but that's going to be decided through them. That way there's no inconsistency and all over the place.
A quick question. When you say they're slotted for routes, like bus routes or for field trips or for all of this?
Just a destination. So we need to get a kid from point A to point B, no matter whether it's a field trip, whether it's a community-based learning opportunity, whether it's part of their daily route to go over to Parchment, because that's where their programming is. So does that answer it? So yeah, I mean that's going to be, this year is going to be final. I mean, I still have 2 policies, transportation and another one on my desk, to really sit down with them and Sean, and we have to look through what's the best option with the best practices that they have under their belt, so that we can just make it very, very clear.
And thank you guys all for doing this.
Does it cost money to run? To run that whatever?
It does.
Yes. How much
it does.
It cost?
I think it's like $12 an MVR.
Okay.
Our corporate does it, so I'm not sure, but I definitely can get the information. I know it's not super
Is
pricey.
there a way to get that information without having to run one of those? Like a person can't just log into their driver's license thing?
No,
There's
it's
driver's
through
license
Secretary of
thing?
State, and they hold that close to their heart for money.
So we would have to probably have them pay for it then. So.
For the program, of course. Yeah.
Well, if it's coaches, that's different, right? Like that's something that we can fund. But I don't know. We'll have to think through that together.
And decide on how often you ran it, if it's the same person or something.
Yeah,
Mhm.
happens between January and January. All right, and then we had a conversation with Matt, and I think Miranda, you were on it. Who else was on it? Just
It
you.
was just, yeah.
And then Sean, Philip, and I, and we were discussing because right now we're throwing money out for these lease buses, and we're not getting anything back in return, right? Other than the buses available to us. So we asked the question of what could we do to buy them, and so Matt got back to us with some numbers, did some research to find that the numbers that were offered to us are decent. And so now I'm asking Matt to get me basically an invoice of like what it would cost to make the buses ours, to buy them, so that we can bring that to you guys for information and knowledge on that. Ballpark wise,
He works for Auxilio. He's my
Because
boss.
at first I was thinking Murphy, and then I'm like, he's not doing what she's saying.
so I think it was like 66,000 and 65,000.
Mhm.
And then we have to have the Peasley conversations of, or do we want to keep the camera wear on there and buy that off of them and all of those things too. So
And then you have to do the search and all those things too.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
yeah, the
More, yeah.
bidding of So that's the game plan. I'd like to get through that. I mean, the payments that we're paying, I'd like to be through towards payment and not continue to lease. So I'll get with Matt later this week to just ask if we can, any payment from this date forward can be put towards the payment. So, and what we do have to do for that Philip was explaining to me is that we have to buy that outright and then we refinance that out. So just so that we're all aware.
How old are they?
Good question. Off the top of your mind?
I think they're 21s.
Okay.
Yes, they're 2021s.
I'll say
So,
2020
you're right,
or
yes,
20.
yeah.
So it's a good record.
Well, depending on what you think. Are they good buses? Were they nice?
They're Bluebirds. They're not our favorite brand, but they're good
Okay.
buses.
They're like the old lady that just died because she was too old.
We like International.
So what is
That's
your
our
favorite
preferred
brand
bus.
for buses? 'Cause
You said international.
international.
That's our preferred. That's the ones we go with.
I have Mr. Keith Martin's book of all the buses,
Yes.
and I think I'm supposed to come take a picture of the new buses to put in there.
Yes.
Even though he's not happy that they're Thomas's. So I was
Yeah.
like, oh, there's two.
We weren't happy about that either, but we got to get what we can get.
Well, yeah, and in this situation, we're not going to find, so this, while it's not maybe our preferred, this is a smart choice.
It is.
To do what we're doing.
He
It is.
supported it, even though he
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
happy.
So yeah, those are the things with transportation, ladies. Anything else that we have on our? I thank you guys for. I'll just chime in real quick before you guys go. There's a couple screenshots that I got about people complaining on Facebook about this, that, the other. Yeah, I sent a message out. You guys saw the message. People just got to give grace. The commenter, the person that owns that page, turned the comments up on that because I was going to go and put one, and so that was nice to have happen too. So anyway, you guys are rocking it. Keep going. Tell me what you want to tell. Nothing.
Nothing.
Sarah takes her test on Friday. So she'll pass Friday, and after break, we'll have another driver.
Does that mean you are completely full with drivers?
No.
No.
Just
It
one more
feels
added.
like it,
We-
but go ahead.
It's getting there. We still would need at least one more full-time driver to make us full.
But you've had 2 people this year just kind of come in, right? Or is it 1? Well, the 1 left already.
Yeah.
So.
So 2 have come in, 1 left, and
Yeah.
1's still here.
And the one that was off on medical, he is done. He's
Yeah,
can't.
he will
he's
not be
he's
returning.
coming back. I just filled that spot, so we'll see. I'm hopeful,
But thankfully it keeps
It's-
going because of these 3 jumping on buses and making it happen. So without
Do what we can.
It sounds
Thank
like they
you.
might want more heat. That's all I got.
yes. They probably want a
That
whole
would
new
be
building.
We love a new building.
working on
but
a building,
heat,
okay?
heat would just be amazing.
Wear
Okay.
more layers. It's fun.
Okay, communication. Does anybody have anything else? Any of you guys have anything?
I think the communication this year has been phenomenal, and I can't say more about it. It's been great. So
Thank you. We love hearing stuff like that.
It really has been great. I mean, it's so much better this year. It's been amazing. Like, I don't feel like we're left in the dark and scrambling to get anyone to hear what we're trying to say. Like, it's right there. So it's been good.
Good job, family.
Thank you. We have no business items for decision. So communications. Anybody on the board have anything?
I'm just grateful for all these committees, like, and just being in the know about everything and like how we're getting information as it's happening. And again, just figuring out like all the logistics when it comes to like the safety plan, when it comes to like transportation with everything. So it's been very refreshing not having to dig for information and everything, just
Yes.
being in the know.
Yes. Thank you to all of Lindsay's staff that's here for all of your hard work and for Lindsay. Superintendent comments?
Philip and I have a timeline with the PFM stuff. I'm going to update you guys in the weekly update with just what the timeline looks like. But just know that this is provided to us, and then it's just really kind of going alongside with PFM with that process for the refunding.
Oh,
Yeah. Sorry, PFM. Refunding.
Okay, I'm gonna adjourn this meeting.
Just quickly, I wanted to say, because I know it was brought up, we did get 3 of the dead buses out. They have been taken off of the lot. The other one will be bought by our trip driver. He's supposed to give me a check this week to bring to you, and that one will get off the lot.
Okay.
What
And
about
I
the
apologize
van?
to all your drivers
It's
for the van still being there.
I was gonna
They
say,
want
what
to
about
use
the
it
van?
for homecoming next year.
Oh, that's right. Now
Yeah.
we use it. At least it has a purpose.
Yeah.
If it survives.
That-
Because every time I drive past it, it has more rust that is just fell off
I
it. It's
think the kids like
hilarious.
that though.
Right, it just comes flying out.
Oh my gosh.
And now it has a purpose to be.
Dang, we should have kept one bus.
You still have the reading bus.
The van needs to leave first, though, so that's okay. Maybe I'll
Anything
leave
else?
the bus side.
That was
Okay, I'm gonna adjourn the meeting at 6:03.